Hello, you're watching A News. I'm Leila Masimwa. Here are the top stories. Protests resume in Georgia as demonstrations continue for the fourth night. Syrian National Army besieges Tel Rifat as it continues its advance through Operation Dawn of Freedom. UN calls for $2.6 trillion investment by 2030 to restore degraded land around the world. Protests continued in Tbilisi for the fourth night on Sunday over the government's decision to delay EU accession talks. The opposition is accusing the ruling Georgian Dream Party of adopting anti-Western and pro-Russian policies. At least 150 protesters have been arrested across the country.
Thousands of people gathered outside the parliament on Sunday for the fourth night, triggered by the ruling party's decision to suspend the push. They are against Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze's decision to suspend European Union accession talks until 2028. President Salome Zurabishvili, who supports joining the European Union, has asked the Constitutional Court to annul the election results and declare the new legislature and government illegitimate. Voices of protesters spread through not only the streets of Tbilisi, but also at least 8 cities and towns. Some gathered outside Georgia's state television, First Channel, to broadcast their message live. Police used tear gas and water cannons to dispel the crowds. The ruling Georgian Dream Party accused the European Union of blackmail following the European Union's call for a rerun of last month's parliamentary elections, citing significant irregularities. The Prime Minister says he rejects calls for new elections. The European Union and the United States are alarmed by what they see as Georgia's shift away from a pro-Western path. Georgian Dream says it is acting to defend the country's sovereignty against outside interference.
The ruling Social Democrats are expected to claim victory in Romanian's parliamentary election that were held on Sunday, fending off a resurgent far-right movement that challenges the country's pro-Western orientation.
Romania's ruling left-wing Social Democratic Party secured around 26% of the vote in the recent parliamentary elections. Exit polls indicated that the far-right Alliance for Uniting Romanians garnered 19%. Prime Minister of the country, Marcel Ciolacu, called the results a signal from Romanians to the political class.
I believe that we must all look carefully at today's result. It is an important signal that Romanians have sent to the political class. In practice, let's continue to develop the country with European money, but at the same time protect our identity, national values and faith.
However, the future of Romania's government will also hinge on the outcome of the presidential elections, since the president designates a prime minister. Independent far-right candidate Călin Georgescu unexpectedly led the first round, which raised debates and concerns about election interference. The top court will decide whether the results will stand. George Simion, leader of the far-right AUR, has heavily criticized the government, accusing the political establishment of undermining democracy.
I want to congratulate the new political forces that are entering or are likely to enter parliament. I am referring here to the Young People's Party, SOS, and SENS. When we said that there would be new forces entering parliament, we were ridiculed. Now things are changing, and the first mission we undertook, that of cleaning up the Romanian political class, that of getting rid of corrupt parties, is close to being accomplished through the will of the Romanian people.
If the exit polls are confirmed, the PSD is expected to lead a pro-Western coalition with enough seats to form a government, though the far right will remain a significant presence in parliament.
The Syrian National Army has fully surrounded the Tel Rifat district north of Aleppo as part of Operation Dawn of Freedom. The campaign aims to stop the Kurdistan Workers' Dream Party and People's Protection Unit's terror groups from creating a strategic corridor for northeastern Syria.
The Syrian National Army has captured several villages around Tel Rifat on the northwest of Syria. They have also blocked key supply routes between Raqqa and Aleppo and secured the Kyiv military airport, a former air defense base. The district of Tel Rifat has been under Kurdistan Workers' Party and People's Protection Unit's terror group's control since 2016. These groups displaced over 250,000 civilians from the area, forcing them to take refuge near the Turkish border. They also used Tel Rifat as a base to launch attacks on nearby settlements. SNA launched its operation to stop the groups from expanding their influence and creating a terror corridor. The operation is ongoing as the SNA works to regain full control of Tel Rifat and its surroundings.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz made an unexpected visit to Kyiv, promising delivering military aid worth 650 million euros by the end of this year. This is German Chancellor's second visit to Ukraine since the war began in 2024, while details of Berlin's military aid to Kyiv remain undisclosed. Scholz will meet with President Zelensky, who aims to push for Ukraine's NATO membership at a Brussels meeting this week. The visit coincides with Scholz's challenging re-election campaign ahead of a snap vote in February. US President Joe Biden has officially pardoned his son Hunter Biden for federal charges related to tax violations and firearms. The move has sparked immediate backlash, including harsh criticism from President-elect Donald Trump.
Hunter Biden was scheduled to face sentencing on the 16th of December for his tax and firearms-related charges. However, his father, US President Joe Biden, has pardoned him. Hunter had previously pleaded guilty to failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes, as well as being convicted for making false statements during a gun background check. In a statement released on Sunday, President Biden explained that he made the decision to pardon his son because he believes the charges were politically motivated. He says, "I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision." Biden, who was departing for Angola on Sunday, made no further public remarks on the issue. Hunter also issued a statement expressing his gratitude, acknowledging his mistakes and adding, "I will never take the clemency I have been given today for granted and will devote the life I have rebuilt to helping those who are still sick and suffering." However, the decision has been met with strong criticism, especially from President-elect Donald Trump. He condemns the move as a miscarriage of justice and an abuse of presidential power. Trump's remarks have fueled the ongoing political debate, with critics arguing that the move undermines the justice system and raises questions about potential conflicts of interest. Previously, Joe Biden has said repeatedly that he would not pardon or commute the sentences of his son.
The 80th anniversary of Thiaroye massacre serves as a reminder of a dark chapter in colonial history. In 1944, French forces killed hundreds of West African soldiers who had fought alongside them during World War II. as President Emmanuel Macron of France acknowledged the tragedy as a massacre for the first time. Senegal is calling for further answers and justice.
It was supposed to be a day of homecoming. On December 1st, 1944, hundreds of West African soldiers, known as Thiaroye Senegalese, awaited their final return after years of fighting for France in World War II. But instead of celebration, it became a bloodbath. The French colonial forces fired more than 500 rounds in just 15 seconds. The official toll was 35 deaths, but historians estimated to be closer to 400, according to archives consulted by Martin Mouret, a French historian. The soldiers, unarmed and exhausted, had been pressing for the wages they were promised. Instead, French military commanders ordered an armed response, claiming it was a mutiny. Thiaroye could be the foundation for Pan-African consciousness shared by all African countries that have lost citizens in the tragedy, said Mamadou Diop, a Senegalese historian and director of Columbia University's Institute for African Studies, according to New York Times. The massacre has remained shrouded in secrecy for decades, but in Senegal, it has never been forgotten. And today, a new government is pushing for the truth and reparations. We still don't know how many people were killed, nor why, how, and where they were buried. Acknowledgement alone is not enough, said Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. President Macron, in a letter to Senegal, described the events as a massacre, but his refusal to attend commemorations and France's reluctance to fully open its archives has left many unconvinced. As Senegal demands answers, reparations, and the withdrawal of French troops, the Thiaroye massacre has become a rallying point for a broader reckoning with colonial-era crimes.
The United Nations estimates that restoring degraded lands and combating desertification will need at least $2.6 trillion by 2030. To achieve this, UN urges more private sector investment, as public funding alone won't suffice. The UN reports that 15 million square kilometers of land are affected by desertification. In 2022, only $66 billion was invested in land restoration, but $278 billion is needed annually. The head of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification urged the private sector, which currently contributes 6% of the funds, to increase its efforts. Two-week UN talks in Riyadh aim to boost efforts and raise more funds for land restoration. The International Court of Justice will begin hearings to address states' obligations on climate change and the financial responsibility of nations for global warming. Vanuatu is the first of 98 countries and 12 international organizations to present its case. The court will examine whether large greenhouse gas emitting nations may be held liable for damage caused to small island states, particularly those in the Pacific, where sea levels are rising at nearly double the global average. Sea level rise in the Pacific is a growing threat to coastal communities, with some islands seeing levels rise by up to 17 centimeters in just a few decades. The meeting in Busan, South Korea, dedicated for forging a legally binding global treaty on containing plastic pollution, ended without a result. The countries remained far apart on the basic scope of a treaty and could agree only to postpone key decisions and resume talks to a later date. The most divisive issues included capping plastic production, managing plastic products and chemicals of concern, as well as securing financing to help developing countries implement the treaty. Saudi Arabia has launched the first phase of the Riyadh Metro, a major step toward transforming transportation in the capital. This modern system promises to ease traffic and improve daily life.
Riyadh's new metro is here, a big step for Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. The first phase connects key spots like International Airport and the Riyadh's financial district. With 6 lines, 85 stations and 176 kilometers of track planned, the metro will change how people move around the busy city. Automated trains can carry up to 3.6 million passengers daily, cutting traffic and lowering carbon emissions.
I'm very happy that this project has finally come to light, and we can now use it in a city crowded with cars and traffic, in a large and great city like Riyadh. This project has enhanced the city's beauty even more. Although billions were spent to bring this project to life, I truly feel today that this great achievement and the billions spent were worthy for the project.
3 lines are now open, with 2 more coming later this month, and the final one launching in January. The Riyadh Metro is set to make travel smoother and cut pollution.
The ski season has started at the Atabari Ski Center in Mersivan Mountain in Turkey's city of Artvin. The snow is already around 90 centimeters thick after heavy snowfall.
At an altitude of 2,200 meters, the Atabari Ski Center in the northeastern part of Turkey is ready for ski enthusiasts again. Surrounded by forests, the resort in the snow-capped mountains offer activities for all levels and ages. Artvan Governor says that the proximity of the resort to the city centre is an important advantage.
There is 80 to 90 centimeters of snow in the facilities. We see that there is big interest already since we opened at the weekend. We came here to examine the facility and listen to the demands and requests of the citizens. It's a very nice environment. The snow quality is very good. We are waiting for more ski enthusiasts to arrive. The ski resort is one of our tourism assets. The environment in Atabari is very beautiful. The view is magnificent.
Visitors can try skiing, snowboarding and sledging, and there's support from the experts at the centre.
Thank you. That's all we have for now. Keep watching A News.